Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Gyle here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander Epic. I'm super excited that I'm getting to say that so often these days. It's awesome. As always, guys, it's going to be an epic this afternoon, so allow at least 1 hour for the watching of this puppy. It's going to be a custom 4v4 on Canis Special Edition. Before we roll out with that, however, I'd just like to reiterate one more time, guys, that Nordic Games Humble Bundle sale is still running. You have 2 days and 6 hours or thereabouts at the time of transmission to pick up Supreme Commander Forged Alliance for only $1. That is only $1, guys. It's probably not going to get a better deal than that for about the next 10 years. And by then, computers won't be running the freaking game anyway. So what are you waiting for if you don't already own this game? Go pick it up. Come join us. Come see what all the fuss is about. Meanwhile, a thin band of ionized particles crackles across the early dawn mist on Canis 4v4 Special Edition, representing the firing of the quantum gateways and the emergence of our players planetside. Let's go to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Super excited about this one. We know everything there is to know about this map by now. We'll take a look at the teams. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top, and we'll call this Team 2 down at the bottom. We'll bring up our handy player sheet, which, by the way, someone was saying they had a better idea of how to do it. I'm always open to constructive criticism. I did ask how, and they've got a response. So if that was you, feel free to hit me up in a YouTube email or something. I was talking about overlays and placing them in different positions. I'm basically about as tech savvy as a 3-year-old, so I don't know how to do anything. But anyway, without further ado, let's move on to talking about our actual players. Team 1 up here at the back, we've got GFY's Deponi, my good friend in Pontiff White Cybran, opening first land, and his immediate teammate to the right of him, it's a Vortex in combat green going Seraphim opening first land. To his right, thirdly for Team 1, it's TEA's Olex in baby pink, he's going UEF opening first land. And last but not least, running at the front for Team 1, it's Adjutant in fecal brown, he's going Aeon opening first land as well. So it's quadruple first land opening there for Team 1. Take a look at Team 2 down here at the back. It's Executioner in Ferrari red going Seraphim opening first land, second air. Line that up a little bit better, there we go. And secondly for Team 2, to his left, it's SUT's Corwin in Cyanide Scion, and he's going Aeon opening first land. Thirdly for Team 1, it's SUT's Chevalier. So Chevalier has joined this SUT clan, and if someone from SUT would be kind enough to comment in the comment section below and tell me what SUT stands for, I would be very happy to know, because I think that's a new one, or it's either that or Chevalier has just joined them. Anyway, he's going UEF, Regal Purple opening first land. And last but not least, the old silver-tongued devil himself, Maverick in Vivacious Violet, strutting his stuff with his ACU towards the river there. He's going Seraphim, and he opened first land and going second land as well, by the looks of things. So those are the players, and that's how our teams stack up. Take a look at where our players are off to on this one. By now you expect, especially players of this kind of rating, to be firmly entrenched in the meta, so I'd be very surprised to see any deviation from the usual opening standard gameplays. Here we've got Deponi strutting his stuff with his ACU up the left-hand edge of the map, the western edge. He's going to come forward to this Hydro here, throw down a land factory on that puppy. And over here at the southeastern edge, Executioner is busy picking up the corner first of all, so slight difference between the way he plays it and the way Deponi plays it. Deponi right on the bottom of the score. It gets his ACU out early and gets him forward grabbing territory, but it does hamper his early build, of course. That's why he's further down the list. So he's allowed an engineer to pick up that corner mechs, and you probably expect Execution to get moving forward once he's managed to finish the construction of that land factory. A few engineers out for Corwin, meanwhile, around here, picking up factories. We're already getting a little bit of odd conflict kicking about around here. A couple of cheeky Selens. We've got the old Selen on the mechs trick, or the mass extractor points trick there from Executioner, cloaked up and just trolling Olex engineer all day. Look, the engineer's got his little arm out, he's ready to build, but something's not working because there's a cheeky little cloaked combat scout there. How very annoying. Well, I'm just going to reclaim some stuff instead, he says. Meanwhile, needs to get a scout out there, a snoop, to pick that up, and then he'll be good to go. So, meanwhile, Maverick setting up a forward manufacturing facility. Not going to be getting the adjacency bonus with the factories on the Hydro. He's going to go instead for the mass extractor. Makes sense, of course. All land factories there. Doesn't need the extra power. Would probably do if it was air factories, but then why would you be putting them so far forward, I heard you say. Adjutant going to be throwing his factories around the Hydro instead. So you see some people do go for that strat rather than the mechs, but it's horses for courses, as they say. Lots of planes out across the board. Maverick gets one of his bombers over the top, lets a bomb go on top of one of Adjutant's mechs, but there's a lot of build capacity that's vulnerable around here for Olex. Olex has things covered though, immediately goes chasing after Maverick's bombers with his inties, and decides to turn around and go for some of these aircraft from Executioner instead. That bomber not going to have any more success with that one. Corwin getting involved as well. That's quite interesting. So Team 2 being pretty aggressive with the old airplay in this one. Corwin moving out north of the river now with his ACU. Where's he planning to head? He's coming up here, going to hit and do a little ACU patrol dance. Execution's moved quite forward over in the eastern side as well. It's busy reclaiming some of very cheeky. Actually, that looked like Mavericks had picked up one of his mexes, but he says, I'm not having that. I'm going to grab it. I suppose it's okay if Maverick doesn't mind. It's not his fair share mexes to have. So Executioner goes and reclaims that and picks that up for himself. Be very cheeky though if he spots that later. Maverick's the sort of person to take offense, believe me. He does tend to think he's entitled to just about everything. But Deponi, meanwhile, busy building up his little manufacturing and fire base. It looks like he's got a couple of static emplacements kicking around in there. That's going to be where he's going to entrench himself for the coming few minutes. Chevalier down here on the plateau. It's all very standard at this point. Olex over on this plateau up here, conversely. And all of the action for the moment seems to be generally in the air. Maverick ducking in and out of the river with his ACUs. Got a couple of Zoes to help back him up now. Adjutant needs to be careful here. Could take a couple of building losses to this little push if he's not careful. All he's got around here is build capacity. And we've got T2 Engineering Suite online on Adjutant's ACU. Starts building the odd Oblivion turret. That's going to give him some nice control, but Maverick being pretty ballsy here at minute 8.5, going straight after Adjutant's factories. Going to take down 2 of them at least. There they go. Adjutant wheeling left with his Auroras, going to try and finish off these Zoes. Maverick feels like his job is done for the moment. He's going to duck back into the river, avoid any further casualties. Team 2 definitely look like they're being a little bit more aggressive. It's still kind of 45 to 55 in terms of map control, maybe in favor of Team 2, but there's not a lot in it for certain. Meanwhile, Chevalier parks a whole line of strikers up on this little plateau, and Deponi marches a bunch of Mantis to their death right up the center of that little mound. Maverick still attempting to harass with some bomber play, getting a lot of traction on it though, feeling bolstered by the amount of interceptor cover he's got from his teammates. But look at the drop that's being prepared here from Vortex. That's an outrageous amount of Zoes. 3 T2 transports fully laden with Zoes. That's an incredible amount. Question is he going to get to deploy them, and where is he going to choose to deploy them? Hold shift, bring up some of these waypoints, see if we can see where he's headed. It looks like he's going right for the corner edge here, down by Executioner's portion of the base. Then he changes up. He's got to be really careful. Needs to avoid Corwin's inties, needs to avoid Executioner inties. And now we've got swift winds on the field as well for Corwin, so he's made the transition to T2 nicely. But he's got all the way to the main base. In they come. Takes a little bit of fire now from some mobile Seraphim anti-air there from Executioner. But all 4 transports going to unload their dangerous cargo. And Corwin's really in danger of taking a lot of damage from this little drop. It looks like Vortex is spacing out nicely. He can do damage to multiple groups of people if he micros well. Multiple players here starting to bear down on Executioner's corner. Largely, most of them have been dealt with over this side. A few factories down, 3 mexes down. That has damaged Corwin pretty heavily, and there's still a lot of Zuis kicking around in Executioner's portion of the base. Another 2 mexes down, so that is a lot of damage enacted upon Team 2's base. Nice little drop there from Vortex. Meanwhile, Deponi has yielded this position to Chevalier. His ACU is backed way up. He's parked it in the river back here. That is not good for Team 1. Thankfully, they've had that little uplifting drop there from Vortex. Another couple of drops coming in, and this time he's spacing them out a little bit, although it looks like Corwin's got wind of it. He's going to want to drop off this transport pretty soon, or face losing it potentially. He gets to his required destination, but doesn't manage to make the drop. Those inties catch up with that transport and put an end to it. However, the drop on the bottom left plateau is successful. Go straight after that plasma cannon first of all, but he's not going to get a chance to get a lot done. I don't think Chevalier's ACU should be able to tidy those up for no significant loss. Vortex saying that wasn't a particularly good drop. I disagree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mexes, T2 pretty much all taken out of commission. A couple of factories knocked out here and there. Some power taken down. I think that was a pretty good drop all in all. Not sure how much he was hoping to get out of there. Meanwhile, though, over on the eastern edge, Executioner having a pretty decent push here against Olex. A point defense creep or thereabouts, something similar has been the ploy that he's gone for. Olex trying to get some triads or a triad up of his own, but he's eating T2 point defense fire now in order to get that up. He does manage to complete it. Whether or not he can hold on to that position, I don't know. Things not looking great for Team 1 right now. Adjutant the furthest forward for actual base expansion for Team 1. Deponi has had to drop back. Olex is about to drop back, or in the process of doing so. He's down to around 7.5k HP on the comm as well. Not a particularly comfortable position or amount of hit points for him to be in. We've got a transition to T2 air though for Olex. He's got some Stingers in play as well as some Janus, but far too much air, I think, from Team 2 for him to be able to get those out and do anything with. Meanwhile, Vortex under a bit of pressure, has to keep his comm ducking in and out of the river there. But Chevalier using up that little band we saw earlier that he used to push the pony back with. He's got pillars, he's got strikers, he's got Lobos. He's going to try and get a bit of a run by on, cause some damage in the main base. Adjutant fighting him off with static D as best he can, and it will become apparent, I think, that Chevalier's managed to achieve that run by, gets into the core of the base. Thankfully, Deponi isn't resting on his laurels, throwing together some Cerberus turrets on his side of things. Would be just the thing to help Vortex out. And Vortex also manages to get some Ilshivas out, so he's made the transition to T2 land there. Should be able to finish off those pillars before too much damage is inflicted. But Team 2 looking very comfortable right now. Give you an idea of where we're at. Blue and green represents Team 2. That's a pretty significant pushback that's happened in just about the last 5 minutes or so of gameplay. Pretty successful indeed. You're looking at a good 75% map control in their hands now. Olex and Adjutant holding as best they can in this forward position, but that plasma cannon not going to last the day. There it goes, and in comes a drop, this time from Corwin, wanting to pay back Vortex, no doubt, for all the drops he's been facing. He's going to get a whole bunch of Auroras in the back. Probably would have done better to get some furthers. Auroras are going to get shredded by an Ilshiva and a plasma cannon recently thrown together there from Olex, so no real gain with that drop. And look at this little base that Executioner has thrown together. He's also got a tac missile launcher online and is currently launching against Olex, probably going after his mass, and that did not make contact with any of his units. I'm pretty sure that detonated on the side of the cliff, so Olex getting a little bit lucky there with the relief of the land. Vortex trying to do something in the middle, or kind of left of the middle, but it doesn't want to stray too far away from the river. Chevalier trying to get a surround on him to stop him withdrawing. Decent overcharge there, takes around 5 or 6 units out of play. Around 7,500 hit points left on him. And we've got a bug on the way for Deponi. Just started, 4,000 hit points and climbing. That's all well and good, but up until now they've definitely been lagging behind in the air play in this game. If you can get that online before anyone in Team 2 makes a transition to T3 Air, it could cause some real damage. You need a crazy amount of interceptors to start dealing with flying experimentals. ASFs, of course, much more efficient, as you'd expect them to be. A couple of units out there from Deponi, facing overwhelming odds there from Maverick. This is really not looking good at all. Adjutant holding fast in the middle, but needs to be very careful. He's surely going to be primary. You can see outlying Oblivion turrets there being pinged, presumably from Team 2, and I think that's signaling some tac missile launches from Executioner, who's going to take them out at range. No TMD in place anywhere near those to help them. There is one back here, so this one should be okay. Olex is going to try and seal off this rear entrance by erecting a bit of a fire base here. Got a decent amount of static D in place, but units in decent number from Executioner bearing down on Adjutant. Adjutant has managed to make the transition to T3 land, so he's got some Harbingers in play, and he's going to need them under pressure now from Maverick. Thankfully, Deponi's also at T3, so a brick turns up on the scene to help him out a little bit as well, but Maverick decides to make a push. He's got the gun upgrade on his commander there, and the Zuis crossing the river in great number, put major pressure on this little manufacturing facility here, and that is the T3 land HQ that Adjutant is surely going to lose. It's going to be very painful indeed. He's moving in with what land he's got from the east, but Executioner bringing his might to bear at the same time. I think his only option here is to fall back. He doesn't want to get caught by this sizable land force from both these two players here. Maverick and Executioner gets his ACU caught. That will be his game over. Starts construction of Oblivion turret. Leave the build capacity to finish that. Adjutant, you want to get your ACU back into base. Maverick overcharges the Oblivion turret, takes just about all of its HP and allows the incoming Zuis to finish the job. Adjutant pinned up against the cliff face. Needs to be really careful here. Deponi and Vortex coming in to try and alleviate the pressure a little bit. Adjutant down to around 9,500 hit points and falling. Needs to keep bobbing and weaving as best he can. Maverick continuing to press with his own ACU as well. Overcharges one of Deponi's bricks there to keep the pressure off him. Adjutant down to 5,500 hit points. Meanwhile, we've got power plants going up further back into the red he goes. Maverick starts overcharging his commander to add insult to injury. Down under 1,000 hit points now, and he's not going to get out of it. There he goes. 21 minutes gone in this one. Adjutant ejected from the game, and things just seem to go from bad to worse for Team 1. Maverick backs up with his commander, feels like he's done enough, congratulates himself in local chat. And there goes the rest of Adjutant's buildings, just a little bit too far forward. Should have backed up a little bit earlier there. But meanwhile, Deponi's bug approaching 80,000 hit points of the 90,000 needed for completion. And that is by far and away the earliest experimental to even be started, let alone a merge completed. Just 22 minutes gone in this one. No one on Team 2 looking like they're going that way as yet. How are we doing on air? Still very much T1 air coming out of Team 2. And that could cause problems. Meanwhile, Vortex is going to be able to complement Deponi's play by he's making the transition to T3 there. We've got an ASF already on the field. Bug online. Deponi starts construction of a Monkey Lord. Should be a nice follow-up. He's going to go straight after Maverick, who's going to want to get back inside the river as soon as possible. How is the air going to react for Team 1 now that that bug has emerged? Executioner and Chevalier immediately bring in their interceptors. You can really see if that was a wave of ASFs, that would have taken it out in one pass, but they bunch up and get collectively detonated by the Soul Ripper's fire. Absolutely redundant at this stage now. They need T3 and they need it now. Maverick's going to get back into the water with around 8,000 hit points left on the comm. Maybe dodging and weaving as he can. Goes down to around 5,000. Head still above water, surely. I think the pony could maybe have picked up the kill there. I don't know. It didn't look like Mav was going to get underwater on that one. But more than the comm kill, he's concerned with crippling Team 2 now. He needs to buy enough time to allow his teammates to get re-established so they can fight their way back into this game. At the moment, they're still way behind on map control and all of the associated problems that go with that. And meanwhile, that bug makes it into the center of Team 2's base, which, to be honest, is lacking pretty heavily on air defense. That bug on around 65% of its HP or thereabouts. He's focusing on Corwin, who has made the transition to T3 air, but if you can take him out of commission, that's going to make it all the more difficult for Team 2 to deal with this bug. He wants to finish off as much power as he can. Maverick's T2 P-Gen's exposed from the shields there. Nice little rank up of veterancy. Takes the pressure off slightly. Breathe a little bit easier, at least for the moment. And now we've even got strap bombers coming out from Vortex as well. So suddenly, this game turned on its head. Corwin in the river, building as much static T1 anti-air as he can. Look at the waves and waves of Seekers, the lines of Seekers being queued up, but of course a Soul Ripper can tear through that pretty easily. Ioshiva's coming in from Executioner, but that Soul Ripper just tanking it at the moment. Team 2 really getting penalized for not investing in ASFs and T3 air tech earlier. Corwin has been well and truly crippled by that attack. He's lost his T3 air HQ. He's lost almost all of his power except for that T2-1 at the back and feeling like it's getting a little bit too hot and that the damage has already been dealt. The pony backs out with his bug, wants to keep a hold of that, and as well he might. There's plenty of other places that could do with harassing. Meanwhile, Chevalier's been making a little bit of a Percival push, but not going to get too far, as Oleg's able to deal with that with a nice little stinger push. Vortex just shadowing this Soul Ripper with his ASFs. The only tool at the moment Team 2 have to deal with this Soul Ripper is epic amounts of flak, and that's something that they're all investing in, both Chevalier and Executioner and Maverick, in fact, all spitting out as much T2 mobile as they can. And now the Soul Ripper moves on to the east. It's going to work on yet more exposed eco of Corwin, who's really suffering the brunt of this attack. Makes sense, of course, in it since it's their air player. That Monkey Lord looking at around 50 odd percent complete. Executioner trying his absolute best to chase down that Soul Ripper. But he wants to be careful here. He's done really decent damage with this thing. Doesn't mean he wants to lose it. Wants to hold on to it for as long as possible. Now, where does that leave us? Well, it actually leaves us looking at Team 1 and thinking that they are actually ahead now. They might not have territory under their belt, but look at this. That was actually another Monkey Lord, I think, that was 50% done when I said it. The first one complete and already terrorizing Maverick's front line. Maverick trying another upgrade on his comms, going to lose his forward manufacturing base. Question is he submerged? Certainly doesn't look submerged. But that Soul Ripper not opening up on him, so I'm guessing he is. Now, what an unreal passage of play there. That's really turned around things for Team 1. Their fortunes been considerably better than they did 5 minutes ago, that's for certain. Another Monkey Lord online, moving out there from Depony. Another one started. He's basically turning into a Monkey Lord manufacturing machine now. That is where he's going with this. But looking at the ecos, 120 for Chevalier, their top player at the moment, but Olex on 188 to 190, running away with things eco-wise. Depony on 111. Suddenly Olex has dropped, must be having some power issues. Corwin 122. Monkey Lord terrorizing everything at the front of Team 2's base. Maverick bearing the brunt of this attack. And now we do finally have ASFs in play. They're from Executioner going after that Soul Ripper in a big way. They've got it down to around 9,000 hit points. Vortex coming in just the nick of time with his own ASFs. He's going to tidy those up and allow the pony to continue to press. He wants to use that sparingly, though. I know he wants to cause as much damage as he can, but that Monkey Lord is still going nicely. However, it's got a broadsword on him. He's trying to get towards Chevalier. Chevalier with just 15,000 hit points on that commander at the moment. We're going to want to continue to move, and surely this is not going to be a good ending for Chevalier. Boom, baby. No Schindler's List for you. This is bad ending. This is modern cinema right here. Down he goes. And that Monkey Lord, more worryingly for Team 2, still very, very healthy. A lot of hit points, but that chicken turns up at exactly the right moment from Executioner. And he should be able to finish it off. The question is, how much damage can that Monkey Lord wreak before it finally dies. Surprised he didn't continue to push. Maybe go after that T3 air factory. Wasn't going to kill the chicken. But Maverick now under a little bit of pressure out in the middle, trying to get himself back to Team 2's base. And just look at what's happened over here. Everything has gone pop from Chevalier. And that's just an open void now. Just begging for some expansion from Team 1. Some Mercies coming in there to help tidy up some of these Ilshivers. Allow Maverick some breathing room. 25,000 hit points on that Seraphim Com at the moment. Absolute beast. Executioner long ago withdrew his ACU back to the main base. A wise decision. You can't imagine this little fire base lasting the night. Very unlikely indeed. And then suddenly all was quiet, at least till this Monkey Lord makes contact over at the western edge of Team 2's base. We'll take a look at what Team 2 can see. They've got Omni up around here, so they've got a signature on that Monkey Lord. They're going to be aware of it. But there's not a lot left for Team 2, and you think about how different this game was about 5-10 minutes ago, probably about 10 minutes ago now. Pony turning round fortunes of T1 in pretty stunning fashion, as we've seen him do many times before, really. T2 HQ dropping there for Maverick. Executioner's chicken tidies it up before Maverick's ACU gets in trouble. Not that he probably would have been. The amount of HP on that com at the moment is pretty ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as the amount of ASFs that are on the field now for Team 1. Fat Boy making an emergence over here from Olex. He's had enough of this little firebase. He's going to take it out of commission. One single solitary strat bomber from Vortex trying to assist. Not getting a second pass though, thanks to Executioner's ASFs. And it looks like Vortex, assume that's Vortex. Yeah, Vortex is going to start work on an experimental bomber. Team 1 just starting to push out now with some build capacity, seeing if they can claim some of this territory back. One or two experimental wrecks kicking around in Team 2's base. That will give them a little bit of a lift. Corwin getting back into the air production in good fashion. It's going straight for restorers. It's going to be tough though for him to keep up with Vortex, who's already way ahead in ASF production. We've also got Olex producing ASFs as well, remember. He comes with a wave, quick attack. They tank it pretty well. Amazing how beastly the restorers are, especially these days since the ASF nerf. Pony's forward bricks have done a huge amount of damage to Corwin's air production. There's a lot of build capacity here. He's going to want to keep this online. It's going to be tough. So Monkey Lord incoming now. All he's got in the way is these restorers, but they're taking a battering, an absolute hammering from Olex ASFs, and now from Vortex as well. That Monkey Lord is surely going to be able to penetrate the outer defenses, and that means once again Corwin going to lose his T3 air factory, unless of course the Monkey Lord Union calls in and says Monkey Lords go on strike, which apparently that one decided to do there. It's a real shame. definitely a target of priority. Might potentially still get it. Oh, not quite. Chicken just emerging, and that one in front. I thought the added fire from Olex's Fat Boy might just prevail there, but alas not. And look at the expansion from Vortex over on the western side of the map. All of that previously in Chevalier's hands now goes over to Team 1, and we looked at it earlier, what it looked like for the teams and the locations. And boy, how things have changed now. That is now Team 2 just holed up in their starting base location, and that's it. No other map control whatsoever. Everything else is in Team 1's hands. Executioner doing a nice job though at the moment of keeping Team 1 out of this base, operating with essentially a couple of Ethotas, and that's it. At least all the build capacity has been forced away from that HQ. And then another lull emerges. Deponi continuing to spam Monkey Lords as many as he can, also assisting with Vortex's bomber. That's getting to around 30% done or so. And this could be a problem for Team 2. They are behind on air power. They can't just bring out restorers and expect to immediately get a Fat Boy kill. And if they can't get to the Fat Boy to take it out of commission, it could be a very tough task indeed to stop it rolling up to the edge of the base here and just shelling them to death. One single Otham from Executioner out in the southwest, picking off some of Vortex's mexes that are just a little bit too far forward for their liking. But Corwin and Executioner going to have a pop at this Fat Boy if they can get close enough. Colossus and Chicken bearing down on it, and Olex not paying attention, not moving that Fat Boy soon enough, has allowed that Colossus to get into range. The beam fires, brings in a couple of parashields, but of course that Fat Boy, ever so slightly slower than the others, is going to eat it, and that's going to be the end of that little threat. Nicely done there from Team 2. Deponi's Monkey Lord is next. When he realizes he's not going to be able to do anything, might as well use that big old laser to take some hit points off that Colossus. Stops its progression. And of course, the longer this goes on, that's more mass that's being dumped on Team 2's doorstep. We have got anti-nuke in place for Team 2. Rightly discerning that it's that time of the game where nukes could begin to make an emergence. I'm not seeing any nuke launches offhand. We have got anti-nuke up here as well. More anti-nuke being constructed in Olex's base. Another bug under construction for Deponi. Unlikely to be quite as successful as the last one now that this is not a spread out operation, it's all condensed. You can bet that there'll be a lot of static defense in placements, lots of T3 anti-air being thrown together. You can see Executioner there working on a line of them. And collective engineer bundle there, getting up to that Monkey Lord wreck and scooping just about all of it. Another to make it back to base, but that was definitely worth it. Monkey Lord from Depony coming in to attempt the deny, but just a little bit too late to manage it. Single solitary Otham making a push at the eastern edge. Looks like it's going to prevent Olex from setting up shop, which is ideal for Team 2. They definitely don't want him setting up shop this far forward. Look how long it takes 3 stingers to chew through those hit points. Still couldn't save that T1 factory. And even got those stingers killed in the process as a wave of ASFs from Executioner comes in to blast them out of the sky. But that experimental bomber has been completed. Around 40-45% done on that Soul Ripper. Vortex not looking like he wants to make a move with it as yet. Goodness me, that's a lot of engineers, and that's a lot of factories as well that Olex is throwing together. I'm guessing mass Percy spam probably on the cards from him. A little bit of an NG drop coming out from Depony. No doubt wanting to help hoover up some of these wrecks, prevent Team 2 from getting their hands on that mass. And there it gets dropped right by the wreck. It's that infuriating little pause where you just want them to drop off what you're carrying and just hover there for a minute, asking for a wave of planes to come in and shoot them out of the sky. But it doesn't happen this time. They make landfall and immediately start working on that wreck. It looks like Depony's going to be successful in reclaiming all of his mass lost in that one. That's a lot of ASFs out for Team 1. I don't see there's any hope of Team 2 at the moment, barring a miracle of them getting back on top of the air game. And without a little bit of air dominance, I don't see there's any real way for them to get back in this. Vortex baits with one Volthu there, one T2 gunship, invites Executioner's ASFs in and then shuts them down. .43 going on 44 minutes gone in this one, and quite a lull in activity now as most of the weapons destroyed or depleted. These guys now entering a phase of stockpiling for the next attack. Taking a look at eco things, Olex sitting on 277, Vortex sitting on 209, Depony sitting on 144, Corwin on 166, Executioner on 133, and Maverick on just 70. 83,000 reclaim banked though from Executioner. Vortex meanwhile a paltry 43,000 by comparison, still pretty good. Depony 60,000, 28,000 for Corwin, and Maverick on 60,000 as well. So tons of reclaim banked by just about everyone in this game so far. Another little drop from Depony. Not sure what that was carrying, like a bunch of deceivers actually, but ate too much Restorer Fire and didn't make its destination. That Soul Ripper meanwhile functional online. It's a lot of experimentals building up actually on both sides. We've got 2 Fat Boys, a Soul Ripper, a Monkey Lord, an Awasar up here. Down here, bunch of chickens. GC. Executioner really doing a pretty good job of keeping Team 2 alive. But how on earth they're going to get out of this one, I have no idea. Restorers come forward to start pummeling the edge of that Soul Ripper there. They don't want to move in for the committed attack. There's just too many ASFs there from Vortex. Vortex telling Olex to move up the Fat Boys. I definitely think they can, as long as Vortex covers nicely with those ASFs. Shouldn't think Corwin would want to expose his Restorers, not at that current number, to any unnecessary danger. And that one Volthu from earlier, is it? Still chewing on these. There were 3 Othams, and that was like 5 minutes ago, and it killed one of them. It got another one down to about 60% health. Team 1 just consolidating now. There's a real game of chicken going on. Hawasar circling, looking like it's preparing for a pass over Team 2's base. 47 minutes gone, still no commitment to an attack from Team 1. Chicken online back here. And Deponi is switching back to eco. He feels like he's worked enough on the experimental side of things. And we do have a nuke launcher that's been completed by Corwin. But 3 at last count operational anti-nuke silos in play for Team 1. So if anything, it's not going to threaten the base. Question is, how much attention is Corwin paying to the scouting material? Many a time we see them fire at the base anyway, only to get immediately shot down because no one's done a scouting run for anti-nuke. It's hard to miss 3 though. Meanwhile, Corwin making a little bit of a push perhaps on the east, for thinking twice about it and returning. There's a nice little ferrying operation going on. It's like something out of Transport Tycoon from Deponi, just ferrying around flak at the moment, concerned by those gunships. Not putting enough faith in Vortex and his ASF. Wants a little bit of added protection for his Soul Ripper. Has Olex finally decided to move in a little bit? He's been busy teching up all of these factories to T3, which he's managed to do. That is a major Percy production facility. Soul Ripper comes in, eats an awful lot of Restorer fire in the process. And those Soul Rippers once again, oh sorry, those Restorers once again forced to back up in the face of all of those bangers. And of course worried about those ASFs too. Executioner meanwhile moving up with some of his chickens. The lead chicken taking a ton of Fat Boy shells though on the way in. Indeed, all of these guys committed now to breaking. They want to kill some of these Fat Boys. Chickens, the best experimentals really for going after dense blocks of Percy's, thanks to the huge AoE on the plasma death balls, or whatever they're called. Deponi applying a little bit of pressure there with some of the bricks. It's going to take some fire from the Restorers. The Restorers just can't hang about. They can't take sustained fire from those bangers, so they'll be out of commission. Vortex turns up with a chicken of his own. It's going to get finished off. Maverick unlikely to get his own chicken back in the water in time before the Soul Ripper finishes it off, but the Soul Ripper gets shot down by Executioner's ASFs. The Monkey Lord breaching the outer defenses for Deponi once again. Maverick needs to be really careful. He is very far forward indeed. Where's that Awasar? Meanwhile, it's landed back here. I don't really know why he's not using it now to make a pass. That would be ideal. Monkey Lord opens up on Maverick, whose comm is shedding hit points. But a cheeky overcharge coupled with all this PD fire manages to brush aside the Monkey Lord, and he gets back into shield coverage in good time to take the edge off this incoming fire, and that's going to be the end of Depony's little push there. Most of Maverick's base still relatively intact. Vortex meanwhile looking for an opening over in the western gateway to this complex. Hammerstar still circling. I really think one pass over the top there could have breached it. He could have taken out all of this PD. He timed it right with the collapse of the shields. And that little attack petering out from Vortex there. Chevalier talking about nukes. Corwin's nuke is in the silo, ready to go. But now the Fat Boys move into position and start to range Maverick's base.
Strategic launch detected.
There goes the nuke. Where's it going? It's going right on top of the Fat Boys. That's ideal positioning. Why waste it going after the base when it's going to have absolutely no effect whatsoever? Nuclear point defense for the win. That's going to be 3 dead Fat Boys, surely. Perfect strike. And look at that. That is going to buy some time for Team 2, I think. 53 minutes gone. No end in sight as yet. I was pretty sure that was going to be the final push. But no. Hammerstar circling still. And still no kills. Vortex reluctant to expose it. It's pretty strange when you think the amount of ASFs he's got. He could easily deal with Executioner's ASFs if he'd just bait a little bit. Probably afford to go in and have a full-on engagement over the top of Team 2's base and still walk out of there with a decent advantage on the field, having taken out all of Executioner's ASFs. It's not ideal timing, but a Scathis under construction for Depony, and that really could seal the fate for Team 2. And in fact, Vortex almost complete on a T3 heavy. So there's going to be a lot of artillery raining down on Team 2, and with no way to take it back or to knock those out of commission, Team 2 going to be unable to stop it. Well, I think that could definitely be the final nail in the coffin of this game. And what's even worse for Team 2 is Team 1's getting their hands on all of the mass in that last little experimental battle up here. The nuke, of course, taking out the Rex in that one, so they won't be able to benefit from those Fat Boys. But taking a look at it on paper, Executioner's on 180, Olex 303, 288 for Vortex, 225 for Depony, and just 196 and 86 for Corwin and Maverick. So Eco starting to tell the story in this one. That's going to be too much of a deficit, I think, for Team 2 to be able to hold on for much longer. Those artillery shells starting to rain down from Vortex's T3. That Scath is very nearly done. It won't be in range when it's complete, but of course the recent changes allow it to move nice and swiftly into range, and once that guy gets online, there's going to be no stopping Team 1, I'm sure of it. Depony playing an absolute blinder in this one so far. Maverick with unreasonable amounts of shielding. That's definitely going to come in handy in a minute. That Scathis opens up on them. Executioner moving forward with his chicken. Wants to clear out some of this. Look at all of the engineers, though, working on that Colossus. There it goes. They scooped all of the mass on that one. Nicely shielded. Bought them enough time to do so. Chicken from Executioner trying to deprive them of that. You've got to give it to Team 2, though. They've really fought to stay in this one. I believe that was probably all of Corwin's restorers there, just getting butchered by combined air forces from Vortex and Olex. Scathis online and moving in. Have a look at just how far it has to travel. Not too far, certainly to start putting some damage on Maverick's base. You want to probably be setting up shop around here somewhere. Team 2 still trying to find a way to break this blockade, but at the moment, every time they send out an experimental, all it's doing is dropping dead in this kind of area, and it's allowing Team 1 to get their hands on yet more mass. Probably would have been better to go mass nuke and just try and nuke their way backwards to clear up all of this stuff. At least they wouldn't be handing experimental wrecks to their opponents, but beggars can't be choosers, and the Scath is now in place and has opened up. First few shells now landing, and they're going straight for Maverick's base. Once that falls, it's going to be an open door to the rest of it. Straight after Maverick's comm, looking like pretty much. Maverick eating huge amount of Scathis fire. Down to 11,000 hit points. Shields blinking on and off, just giving them a bit of protection there. But Fat Boy's also moving in at the same time from Olex. Vortex still reluctant to use that bomber. GC moving forward there from Corwin. Wants to knock out that Fat Boy if he can. But there's so many Percivals at the front of this one, just chomping through that Colossus. And he's not going to get anything done. Down he goes. And again, Deponi manages to scoop all of the mass off the Rex there. Corwin comes out to try and stop him. But look at the amount of shells coming across map, coming from the Fat Boy. Nice little shell landing there. And it's actually a nuke defense that's bitten the dust. I'm not sure if we've got any nukes on Team 1's side of the map. Soon to be another nuke in the silo on that one, though. That would be a nice target to prioritize there for Team 1. Deponi making a little push with some bricks over in the right, but Olex steaming in the front door with his horde of Percivals. Maverick behind his bank of T2 PD. Corwin tries to defend with restorers, but in comes Vortex with his horde of ASFs, and surely the time is right now to come in over the top and land a bomb in here. Not I'm getting antsy or anything, but use your frickin' bomber already. I want to see explosions. Maverick trying to get another chicken online. Lots of build capacity around that. Got some assistance coming from his teammate as well, Corwin. Those shields fail. It's just going to take 1 or 2 shells there to wipe out all of that build capacity. Execution doing a nice job over here at the eastern corner here, preventing more of Team 1 coming in around this edge. The bomber comes in, thinks about it. He's got 1 kill. Must be a plane or something. Circles around. Doesn't want to take a pass from Executioner's ASFs. He comes in, surely a bomb right in the center here. Maverick on virtually nothing. 10,000 hit points. The bomb gets launched. The plane gets shot down. The shields are done. Unbelievable amounts of carnage. Maverick, just 5,000 hit points, somehow still alive, starts trying to build a T2 shield generator, but constant fat boy fire coming down on top of him. Surely he's not making it out of this one, and there he goes. Maverick ejected from the game at the 1 hour, 1.5 minute mark. And Team 2 left without a front man now. Corwin over here exposed the western flank of the base. Outrageous amounts of crap coming into the base on that one. Corwin now being prioritized by the fat boys. Dodging left and right. Somehow still alive with 1,000 hit points. But in comes some Volthus to finish the job. There he goes. And then there was one. Executioner left by his lonesome. Bricks moving in there from Deponi. Outrageous amounts of fire. That fat boy gets into range. There's not a lot of HP left on it. Just 4.5k. Executioner trying to fight off these last few bricks coming in from Deponi. But it's all for naught. A wave of Percival's coming in as well from Olex to follow them up. And now Scathis fire landing on top of everything at the same time. A little bit of friendly fire there, but that's inevitable. Executioner down to 2,500 hit points. A couple of strap bombers come in there, I think, from Olex, or Vortex actually, I think. And that wraps the game up at 1 hour, 3 minutes. Unbelievable turnaround from Team 1 there in the first half of that game. Took forever to finish it off though. Beautiful standoff at the end there. Nicely done by Team 2 to hold out that long, but it was just inevitable in the end. It was always going to turn out that way. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.